Dorin, nice to meet you again.
Good to meet you too.
My first question will be just a general question about the situation with the airline industry and with travel services in our region, because you have the bigger picture about the Balkans. What you see in Bulgaria now, this year, Sofia Airport has a growth rate of about 14.5%. The Black Sea airports, 22.5%. What's the situation in Romania and in the region as a whole?
Well, with us, I can tell you we studied the market for some years also. For the last I would say since we joined European Union, the increase was double digit every year. And we moved from 0.4 passenger per capita to something like 0.7. That means intensity of travel increased everywhere. And this did not happen. Bucharest Airport had a double-digit increase also. It reached about 10.6 million passengers already. The total, but it's I would say about 70-something% of the whole country. So total country, it's about last year about 16 point something million passengers. We have the phenomenon that happened in the last years was that the regional airports became more interesting for a lot of carriers, and traffic did not concentrate only in Bucharest but in many other places, especially with time infrastructure was adapted to new type of aircrafts that were suitable for low cost, because before the system of traffic organization for aviation in Romania was that Bucharest was a focal point and all the other airports were supplying traffic to Bucharest and then from here connecting to the world. Now we may say democracy is there. You can fly from several airports almost to anywhere in Europe. Cluj reached more than 1 million passengers. Iași is close to 1 million passengers. Timișoara already has more than 1 million passengers. And some of the other regional airports are coming seriously behind. And every airport, just after they make some efforts to increase, say, the runway, to have proper facilities, then they got the traffic. That means there is business almost everywhere. You just need to have the proper facilities. We see the same increase of traffic in neighboring Serbia, especially after transformation of Air Serbia. Then I have seen, of course, Hungary after the dynamic increase of Wizz Air. And you can see Debrecen Airport getting a lot of traffic.
But it's all point-to-point operations. Obviously, there is no big hub in this region, maybe apart from Belgrade, because of the rise of Air Serbia and the investment that they have made during the past year. Or is the Romanian situation? Is Bucharest used by TAROM, for example, as a transfer point?
Yes, it is, but to a low degree compared with older times. That was the philosophy of TAROM even in communist times. We were connected like Balkan. We were connecting through Bucharest. Unfortunately, now connecting traffic is not having such a large share, especially from domestic routes, because, as I said, there are direct connections to Europe, and internationally, because TAROM did not follow seriously this policy of connections, and also competition is much tougher than before in this respect. So we have an increase of traffic, but unfortunately most of the traffic is Romanian originating, and there are a lot of people going to work abroad. I think more than 4 million people are in different places in Europe. This is good for aviation because for us it gives a bit of bread and butter. The traffic increase all the time. Unfortunately, the tourism did not increase. Tourism to Romania, incoming tourism did not increase in the same, path of with the same dynamic. So what we try now, we try to convince local authorities when they get a flight somewhere to go and promote themselves, because there are night places everywhere, like here. If you don't promote, then they would not know, and we will continue to supply traffic to different points without getting the advantage of the connection, actually, because these connections which we are getting to different points in Europe should be beneficial to both sides. I mean, it's a road with 2 lanes. One is going, one should be coming.
This is what we discussed actually today during Sky Day. We face the same problem here in Sofia. Most of the traveling public is actually outbound from Bulgaria to abroad. As you described, the situation is the same in Romania, but the airlines are doing a great job in promoting their destinations, including the point of origin, which in this case is Bucharest and Sofia. So the local authorities are lacking behind, right?
Yeah, you can see in the last period that they are working together, and they organize the different points when they are opening routes. They are organizing events and they try to promote. But this depends also of people attitude and of people, plans. And unfortunately, it depends on politics also.
Do you see change of behaviors in the regular traveler from, for example, traveling in a group, using a travel agency, or they're preferring now to just self-organize and book directly with the airlines or online?
It's hard to say. In my opinion, I mean, we are doing this kind of business also. We issue tickets, we represent airlines. You can see in BSP Romania, for instance, although traffic has increased, there is not such dynamic increase of business in BSP. That means low cost has taken a lot of business. But so it could be that people buy direct. But as it's getting more sophisticated as a product, so in low cost even it's not so simple. You have to know if you have to buy separately the baggage, or if you have to buy seat reservation, or if you have to buy some services which you need anyway. And if you go to the airport, they are much more expensive. Then slowly people are going to agencies and asking, what am I doing? And now you see even with classic carriers, the NDC system, which we discussed today, is changing the structure of rates. You can buy services unbundled, separate services. I mean, you buy travel and then you buy seat, you buy this, you buy food, yeah, whatever, seat at the window, larger seat. And then it's getting complicated because certain rates give you certain rights. And I think the public needs advice of the travel agents, and the systems become more sophisticated, and the way the sale is going, it becomes more sophisticated. So agents will need advice from us on how to sell. People would need advice from agents on how to sell.
It's actually strange because I remember that 12 years ago, IATA was all about simplification of the product. Back to the days when the electronic ticket, for example, was introduced. But now we're talking about over complexity of the product because of the low-cost model, and because the traditional airlines are also looking to that model and taking certain part of this, introducing into their offering. Do you think that the future will bring more complexity, or we rather start thinking again about simplification of air travel?
I think air travel will be more accessible and easier to buy. The way it goes to public, even with IATA or with others distribution systems which are devised by specialized companies or by companies which are producing distribution software, I think this will put different, I would say, products in the market in a sophisticated system, but easy to access. It will change. Technologically, it would be easier. I think this is the IATA problem, to go from expensive old technologies to the new systems which are cheaper, XML-based, internet, direct sales, and things like that. But even if it's internet, it's a complex product, and every airline would love to have its product some way with personality, with a certain personality compared with the products of the other airlines. So I'm sure it will be much more diverse, and that's why travel agents will have a good bread and butter to eat for the next years, because public will have to be advised. It becomes very specialized.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.